correspondent, Jackson College professor, Mike Marra. Hi, Mike.
Hey, Bart. How you doing?
I'm great. Nice to see you. Welcome back. It's summer blockbuster. Wait a minute. Do we have blockbusters anymore?
We sure do, Bart. Yeah. The season starts around May, goes through late July, early August.
So people, they were slow to get back to the theaters following the pandemic. Are they back now?
I don't know, right? We last summer we had the big event, right? We had the Barbenheimer, right? So we had Barbie and Oppenheimer, right? That was the big thing. No big thing this year, unless I'm missing something. I don't know.
No, but there's still 2 more months. We could, 4th of July. That's always big.
Probably the big one is going to be the new Deadpool picture, the Marvel thing, right? That comes out in July. That'll probably be pretty big.
All right, so we have 2 movies that I think I've confused. Before I saw them, I wasn't sure which was which because of the similarities in the names.
Yeah.
The Fall Guy and the Hitman.
Just Hitman.
Hitman.
Yeah.
The Fall Guy and Hitman.
Nailed it.
And they're 2 different movies.
Yep.
Have you seen them?
I sure have.
I have too.
Very good. This is going to be a terrific conversation.
Well, we've seen the movies we're talking about. All right, so the first one I saw on the big screen.
Yeah, likewise.
And I was there with my wife, and there were 3 teenagers in the back. That's it.
Yeah?
That's okay.
Yeah.
But I saw it on the big screen, and I thought it was very entertaining.
Yeah, I had a really great time. I didn't know that it was based on a television show until later.
Really?
Because I don't know. Young. It was back, when was this thing on? Back in the 70s, 80s?
It was, late 70s.
Like that.
80s,
yeah, I had no idea. But I had a really great time with the pictures. I love Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt. These are fantastic people. They had incredible chemistry. I really enjoyed it. It was a great time. And the director is I don't know how to pronounce his name, David Leitch. He's the John Wick guy. He came up with John Wick. He used to be a stuntman, right? And so this was kind of a project that he had bubbling for a long time. And he said, you know what, I want to showcase stuntmen. I want to have a lot of great effects and everything, and a lot of great stunts, obviously. And the movie had that in spades. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I read a little bit more about the movie and the stars after I saw the movie. I saw an interview on Esquire with Ryan and director Leitch, and found out some things I didn't know, including one of the major stunts in the movie was Ryan Gosling did his own stunt.
Love it. Yeah, I mean they've been doing this for a while now, right? The big one is Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise loves doing all of his own stunts in the Mission Impossible movies, right? And so, they probably let Ryan do it as much as he can. But then, of course, since it's a love letter to stunt guys, I'm sure the stunt guys, did plenty as well, right?
So the movie, to me, the storyline was preposterous. It was crazy. It was beyond the realm of anything possible. But it was so well done. The movie was so well made that you could forgive that.
Right. The idea, and this is something that's in my broken brain, right? Is your suspension of disbelief can go up as long as your entertainment is going up, right? As long as you're enjoying something a lot, you're like, I don't care if this doesn't make any sense because I'm having a good time, right? But if you start not having a good time, then you start, your suspension of disbelief goes out the window and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that makes total sense because as the movie goes on, there are things that, this would never, there's no way, but it doesn't matter.
Exactly, right? He's just a stunt guy, but he's supposed to be, doing this investigation, right? He gets in with the bad guys, they're shooting guns and stuff, and we're supposed to believe that his stuntman training is enough, that he can keep up with these criminals. And of course it wouldn't be, but Ryan Gosling is so much fun and Emily Blunt is so much fun that we don't care. And it's really enjoyable, it's written really well, it's obviously shot like $1 million. The thing looks great, it sounds great, and so it doesn't matter that it doesn't make sense. You're having a good time at the movies.
And it was one of the fun things I like with movies that are shot overseas is being able to see a lot of things you never see. Like we saw a lot of Australia.
I read online that there were a lot of people, a lot of Australians who were stoked that it took place in Australia and was shot there, because that doesn't happen a lot.
No.
Things are shot in Australia, but sometimes for the opposite reason. For example, when they shot The Matrix in 1999, they wanted a large city, but every large city looks recognizable to Americans. If we saw Los Angeles or New York or Chicago on screen, we'd say, oh, that's New York, and we'd be taken out of the movie because it's supposed to be a fake city. It's The Matrix, right? And so the Wachowskis, they shot that in Sydney because it was a skyline that Americans weren't familiar with. And so it would look like a made-up city, right?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, the other movie, which is available on Netflix, is Hitman. Did you like it?
I didn't, Bart. I didn't like this movie at all, if I'm being perfectly honest.
I didn't either.
So we need to talk about something really quickly here. Did you look up the critical reception of this movie?
I did not.
Okay, so
I knew
here's the
nothing
deal.
about it ahead of time.
Here's the deal. Either there are like four circumstances generally. Everyone loves this thing. Everyone hates this thing. Critics like it. Audiences don't. Audiences like it. Critics don't. Okay? And usually when it's one of those, I'm still probably going to enjoy the picture. For example, if you see The Green Knight, which is this goofy, artsy thing, okay, based on, folklore or whatever, high audience score, very low. High critic score, very low audience score. And so it's super artsy, whatever. I enjoyed myself. I get it that regular audiences aren't going to enjoy it.
Plus, you're a critic.
Sure, we'll say that. Conversely, that new Godzilla and Kong picture,
You loved it.
very low critic score, very high audience score. I also enjoyed it. All right? This is the perplexing thing for me on this picture. You look up Hitman, across the board, high scores, critics and audiences.
Really?
And I don't know what they see in this movie, Bart.
No, for me, it started really slow and went really slow.
Yeah.
For the first 45 minutes, I thought, something's got to happen. Something's got to give. It's
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It's this thing's 2 hours long. Feels like it's about 30 minutes too long.
I paused it a couple times to see how much more time I had to sit and watch it.
Right.
Yeah.
And the whole time I'm watching it, I'm wondering why I'm not enjoying it. Because this and The Fall Guy are the exact same movie, right?
Yeah.
There's a person who does a job and they're thrown into a job that they don't normally do. Ryan Gosling has to go be an investigator, a detective. This guy, I forget his name. He's the new hotness.
I forget his name too, but he's like
He's the new Glenn Powell. Nailed
Powell,
it.
the it man of the summer.
He's a philosophy professor who kind of works with the police department. Then he has to go pretend to be a hitman, right? And then they both get embroiled in a situation. But for some reason, it just wasn't good.
No.
And I can't really put my finger on why. Do you know why? Anything stick out to you that just rubbed you the wrong way, Bart?
Well, I think the scenes in the college, which I thought were in the high school for the first 20 minutes,
Right, yep.
They were not making any sense.
Sure.
There was no connection. What is the point? What is the point of the high school scenes or
Right.
the college scenes?
Right.
The story, the build up to the story, it just took too long. They kept revisiting scene after scene after scene, doing them over and over and over again.
Right.
And the end is what really bothered me. It was
We don't want to
we're
spoil
not
it
give
for
it
the
away,
viewers
but
at home, right?
They
Yeah.
chose the wrong way. I thought they chose a wrong way to end the movie. They could have been very clever and it could have been very satisfying,
Right.
but it wasn't.
And people who are enjoying this thing are saying that it's a great dark comedy. And at
There's
the
no-
end, it's not dark.
No.
It's just weird
Yeah.
and kind of off. And the strangest thing here is that it's based on a true story. This is a guy who did exist and did work with the police department and did pretend to be a hitman. And then the end of the movie is just completely fabricated.
So that
to add
part,
what?
Yeah, because at the beginning they say somewhat of a true story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened.
Yeah, well, yeah, Glenn Powell. I didn't know Glenn. I'd heard his name and seen interviews that he's supposed to be the hottest thing in Hollywood
Yeah.
right now, but he's the first time you see him in the movie, he's a nerd and he's
Right.
not attractive.
Right.
And then he
Yeah.
turns into a hunk
Uh-huh.
like halfway through the movie. It just didn't seem nothing nothing seemed right.
Nothing seemed right.
And it was
Yeah.
too long, over
Right.
2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in the Top Gun sequel a few summers ago, and I really enjoyed him in that. But I don't know. But we're wrong, Bart. Everyone
wrong.
else loves this guy.
We're wrong.
So I don't know. Yeah, don't listen to us, I suppose.
All right, don't take our advice, or do. But Mike, thanks for coming in.
Not a problem. Happy to be here.
All right, entertainment correspondent Mike Marra.